I mean, I think you can just start talking. We're definitely filming, right?
He needs this clap.
The clap. Oh, okay. That's it right there. That was the sign. Perfect. Well, back at it to talk about another week that we had and just to kind of recap it.
I can't believe it's already like 2:30 in the afternoon today.
Well, time definitely flies on Fridays for us. Like Fridays, it's always our busiest day. And that's why sometimes like we do a lot of our date nights Thursday nights. I've been noticing. We do like, it's trending.
It's trending to be on Thursdays?
Thursday nights. But yeah, this has been a good week. I feel like it's been extremely productive. Starting off.
Well, there were 2 episodes of The Bachelor this week, so that was exciting for me.
So what did we do Monday? I feel like Monday.
Well, we did the last podcast on Monday
to recap the previous week.
Yeah, so. Because last week, what happened on Friday?
It was just a rough day. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
Uh-huh.
And then we try to do it Saturday, but then, Saturday it just gets rougher and rougher when we don't stick to, like, the daily schedule for sure. So Monday, we did the podcasting again. Tuesday, we've been sticking to, like, now we made an agreement that you take Knox to gymnastics now.
Yep.
Because I love going in, to places with him and doing these things, but there are certain things that, like, I think one of the things we always talk about is being able to spend alone time individually with our son. And for me, I was like, hey, I volunteered that gymnastics up right away. I was like, let that be, like, take him to gymnastics, because you definitely get really into that, and it's cute. I like that because I am creeped out by the songs that they play.
Yeah, because we talked about this on the last podcast.
Yes.
We talked about the tippy toes.
Yeah, the creepy tippy toes.
Because I had taken him on Saturday, and then I took him again on Tuesday. Tuesday was a much better gymnastics day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a much better. Is there someone like playing bass? Like, where's that rattling coming from? You guys hear that?
Oh yeah.
Is it the music? Is it our music? Just rattling away.
We'll take a pause on this, and this will be edited out from Jaime.
Why? We can keep talking.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Tuesday's gymnastics class. It was much better because Saturday he was super tired and cranky, but Tuesday we had a good time. He still was crying for the first little bit, but he warmed up a lot, and he just loves that trampoline. Like, I can't. It's hard to get him to want to do too much.
Is the understanding that he has to go around the trampoline?
Kind of.
Because I was making sure, because you know how they get really picky about that.
Yeah. He did it for the most part, especially if there were other kids up there. I did make him sit at the end of it because he's somewhat antisocial.
Right now he is. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's an only child. So I made him sit at the end of the trampoline and give every kid high five as they came off of it. Nice. I literally held his hand in the air, and they were all about it, and he didn't really get it, but I was like, high five, and
yeah, they loved it, huh?
So that was cool.
Good.
And then this week ended up being busy because I had not 1 but 2 appointments that were supposed to be last week.
They got shoved this week.
The person was like, I can't do it today. My hair appointment and my microblading for my eyebrows, the touch-up.
Oh, I remember Tuesday
I went to get my hair done, and you went to Cabela's.
I have never heard of Cabela's before.
What's this?
It must be a Mexican thing.
I mean,
just kidding.
I don't want to say that hunting's kind of a white person thing.
Kind of. Yeah, I think so.
Hunting, like hunting for deer and stuff like that.
Kind of. I think so. I mean, to be honest, I can't speak for everyone, but that was just not something I grew up with. And if you do any kind of hunting in Mexico, from my uncles, when I would go visit them, you go out into their land and you go kill a cow.
A cow, okay.
You go do
That's
a
not
cow.
really hunting.
You're
How
not.
hard is it
No,
to
like
hunt a
you
cow?
Exactly. You're not. Yeah. So
that's just murder at this point. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So we went to Cabela's. I went to Cabela's because had to go pick up some stuff there. Or go look at picking up future purchases.
Say what it is. You were just trying to buy a safe for our house.
Yes, I wanted to buy a safe for the house, and a good one.
When he brought up Cabela's, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, which that's huge hunting territory.
Yeah.
And so there's a massive Cabela's, maybe 20 minutes away from where I grew up. And I remember when they opened it, it was a really big deal. And now, aside from Temple Square, which is this just massive city block of beautiful buildings that have been there forever, Cabela's is the number 2 visited tourist attraction in Salt Lake City.
That's so crazy. So I guess when I started looking up what Cabela's was, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'm ready for this. Such a wide selection. And so I get there, and I'm like, I didn't even bother touring the whole store because I would say that it's the equivalent of what Target is to women. Like
no. Cabela's is way bigger.
No. Hold on. The mindset of like you go into Target for a specific item,
you'll get distracted.
and then you come out and you don't buy the item that you wanted. It's that they call it the Target effect, how the layout is. With Cabela's, I walked in there and I was like, I am not going to go to the right of the store right now because I'm going to walk out.
Do they have like a map when you walk in, or how did you know where to go?
So that one's not, obviously it's big. It's 100,000 square feet, but you can see like they positioned all like what sections were with signs, and you could see them as soon as you enter the store, right? I was like, so to the right was all the fishing stuff and all this thing. I didn't want to even attempt to go that way. It's something that I want to do later when Knox grows up, but I know myself when I jump into a new hobby. Like I go for it. I really go for it.
Yeah,
so I didn't want to go in there looking for safes and then come out being a freaking fisherman. Right? I was really terrified.
Can you see him like walking in with like his fishing rods and like his lures?
Yeah, all of a sudden, I'm like purchasing a boat and things. I'm like, what the heck? But I was very proud of myself because I went in. I was like, go to the left, go to the left, go to the left, and I went to the left only. But there was like a pressure that I felt too, though, because of the fact that like it was getting close to like Portland traffic time, and I was like, ugh, I'm not a big fan of sitting in that traffic stuff.
It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be.
And it doesn't. And the reason why I feel I was pressed for time too is because we like to be back by 5 at our house because that's when we like to spend time with Knox and wind him down and get him with his whole night routine. So I didn't really get to enjoy it for what it was. But the stuff that I did see, I was pretty impressed, and I thought it was super cool. And it definitely will be a store that I'll go check out later for different hobbies and stuff. But I'm not going to allow myself to get consumed.
Can you even like picture LA 4 years ago, Julian? Like, you went to Cabela's by yourself.
I really did. That's pretty crazy. So 4 years ago,
I mean, you were wearing like a Yeezy shirt when I met you.
I was wearing I had a 2-door car. A Nissan Altima with like rims, like all the dumb stuff that I spend money on now.
Gosh, now you're just rolling into Cabela's with that beanie on and a beard.
Beanie, beard,
Jeez.
like the grungy look with
your chest was shaved when we first met.
With a Ford 150 Super Cab for the family. Like I would have never bought a truck in LA. Never.
Well, that's just impractical.
Exactly. But the thing is, that's like common sense, and I didn't have much common sense with certain things back then, clearly, with like car purchases that I made before. So yeah, Cabela's was a cool experience. I want to go back. Luckily, it's not too close. It's like about 45-minute drive, so it's not motivating to really just be, I just want to go to Cabela's all the time, But I definitely will be going there with Knox as he gets older, and when we pick up new like outdoor hobbies, because that's why I like being out here, because there's so much outdoorsy things to do. It's awesome.
It's like a Bass Pro Shop.
But so then this morning he's like, the safe that he wanted to buy, he's like, we're not going to be able to put it in the closet because it's 3 feet wide
and 6 feet tall.
I was like, what?
It's good. It's a good size. Good size. It's good size.
No, I was like, I'm not going to have just a safe just like out in the open in our bedroom. Like that doesn't, no, we're going to have to downsize the safe to fit in the closet. I mean, our closet's pretty big.
It's a good size. It's just how it's so organized. I didn't want to like mess with like any of the setup that we have to fit that specific size safe. But I think I got to go do a little bit more hunting and for that, and I'll find the right one. For sure.
Hunting.
Perfect, right? Dang.
Yeah, you going for just firearm safety or
a mix of both?
Like fire safety, so you can put your documents in there, like your family stuff,
but we don't have like a lot of like jewels or anything like that.
No.
Like, come on.
And no. The safe conversation was pretty interesting because whenever I'm about to make a purchase on an item, I really like to dig in and do my research on it. And the safe, oh my gosh, some of these safes, man, it's so crazy how top-notch security some of them are, and it really, like, I wonder, like, man, what kind of people are buying these safes? Jesus.
What exactly do you have?
Exactly. I'm like, clearly people have some, like...
I feel like Jaime's got some weird shit in his house that he would need a safe for.
But anyway, it was just interesting, when making a safe purchase and when the salespeople try to, like, sell you on a certain safe. I'm like, hey man, I don't have any enemies, okay, and we live in a pretty decent neighborhood, so stop trying to. I need something that's just like, hey, I need to put some of this stuff in there, and that's it, all right? I'm not ashamed.
People watch too many movies.
They really do, 100%. And then they're like, oh well, if someone comes in and like at the blowtorch or wants to saw it open, I'm like, what?
Is this the
What?
job?
And I was like, what are you like? What?
Are you George Clooney?
I'm like we're like trainers.
Like Ocean's 11 getting into your house?
Right?
What's going on here?
I was like, no, and I would never want to carry stuff like that in my house. I'm sorry, like it's just weird.
People are paranoid.
People are extremely paranoid nowadays.
They say you gotta bolt them down, but like if somebody can carry a safe, steal a safe.
It's 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Anyway.
If they can get the 500-pound safe down the spiral-ish, like it's a little rounded staircase that we have.
Yeah.
You know what? You deserve it.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what? Take it. We're doing fine. I'll probably just rebuy everything that I need from there, and just wow, I'm very impressed. But anyway, so that was my Cabela's trip. I definitely will be going back and had a good experience. Now I don't want to go to the one in Utah yet because it'll overwhelm me. I feel like because it sounds like a shopping mall.
Please take my dad.
Oh, we will. I'll go with your dad for sure. I
mean, my dad's not really like a hunter though. Like he never was.
If
like,
I go
into
with
the
him, be like, I
hunting,
need to prep
but
for
he
emergency
will-
kits. He would be all about it.
Because my parents have a whole like room in their house dedicated to like food storage and like extra water and like just supplies and stuff, which I think is awesome. Like it's pretty cool.
It's good.
It's like very much a part of the like culture over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need a whole room of it.
No.
But he was always the one like at Christmas time I would always get like a new like car safety kit to put in my trunk to make sure like I have a flare and like all this.
No, that's
stuff.
good though. That's good. Just
I
like
always had
basic,
that.
Stuff. Yeah, for sure. That's really good. Luckily, we live in a different time now where we have so many things that allow us to get help right away. Even if you don't have service, I think you can still dial 911.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can still do
get it.
Yeah.
You can get it. Most cars come with it now.
Exactly. So it's pretty freaking awesome. We've come a long ways from back in the days, but props. You can never be too, prepped, right? Which is cool, and it's a good thing to never lose. So yes. Then Wednesday, what did we do Wednesday? What was it Wednesday? Hi, man.
I don't even remember. I don't think we did.
Story time.
No,
that
Thursday.
was Thursday.
That was Thursday. Wednesday. Here it is. We had a conversation that we had to address in
For the street parking
for
members?
the street parking members, because like a thing that popped up, our community now has gotten to a point where the Facebook page is extremely active. It's got like over 10,000 members in the Facebook page alone, and that's not all of our members because not everybody has Facebook that signs up to be street parking, and some people just don't want to deal with it, right? The community is extremely active, right? They've gotten to a point now where they do a lot of NFR posts, which is short for non-fitness related posts. Which there's a post, somebody asking, hey, like, would you guys be open to creating a separate page that was only covering fitness topics? And it was a good question. It was a new member, and she had the right to ask and stuff. But some of the comments in that feed were,
oh gosh, it was only from a few people.
It was a few people, but it was enough to start. What we watch for in our community is for that one comment that's going to bring an imbalancement, right? To or just bring a negative vibe, because everybody's super positive, and it just takes a negative or a comment that doesn't just sit well with the majority of our community, and then that person, let's just say that person loves street parking, and and then they say something that was extremely like negative, and then people will speak their mind.
Oh yeah, it starts like them arguing with each other. So yeah, like you said, like we weren't opposed to the question, like, because we have thought about making a straight up like coaching page where we post like all the coaching stuff, or if people have specific coaching questions, that's all the page is for.
Yeah.
Outside of the group, because people do post a lot of non-fitness related things. So the question was fine. It was just, like some of the comments were like specifically attacking, saying I'm sick of seeing pregnant and postpartum moms talking about their babies on here. And it's like, whoa.
Like
or like asking about pregnancy advice or asking about breastfeeding advice. And it's like, okay, I mean, that's a huge part of our community.
It is.
So yeah, the question, it was more the comments back, and it was only a few people, but yeah, we had to really, what I said because we went live to address it, which we always do, like if we see a problem that's happening and we see people like you can feel like they're starting to get angry on both sides and they're starting to like argue with each other, we'll usually go live. And you were addressing it, but what I said is like, well, what is fitness related? Like, where's the line? Because like some of them that are non-fitness related, they're talking about like, oh, I got laid off of my job or something like that. Well, that's going to impact your motivation to work out. So like if your kid's been sick all week long and you haven't been able to, like they've been tied to your hip and you've had to take care of them, like a lot of those non-fitness related posts in the comments, you'll see people encouraging them, giving them some motivation to go, hey, I know like it's tough, but just you'll feel better if you go do the shift workout, or I know it's tough, but make sure you meal prep for yourself and keep eating good. So that's where I was kind of like, well, I mean, what we essentially are trying to be is like a gym. All the same aspects that you would get if you physically went to a gym, we want to provide online. So you would never ask like the members of a gym when they come to class, like, hey guys, no. Talk about the workout only. Do not ask somebody how their day was. Yeah. Do not tell them that you like their shirt. Like, do not, talk about how you got a new puppy. Like, only the workout. That would be ridiculous in person. And so.
Yeah, that's one of the things that makes our community is just the fact that people feel vulnerable enough to post about, because they feel like they can't be. That's what's crazy. They don't feel like they can be vulnerable with their personal page, but they feel like they can be vulnerable with the community.
Because they see each other do it so much. And
that's super special. Like, why would we want to get rid of that? Like, so yeah, that kind of really bothered us a little bit. The fact that, like, throughout the 2 years, there's been a couple posts that we've had to take down and stuff like that. But for the most part, even if it's an NFR post, people have been super supportive of it. And it always leads to, that person getting right back into a good flow in their day-to-day life. And so, yeah, that's not something we want to get rid of for sure.
Yeah, so the only topics that we've asked people to like kind of steer clear of obviously are like religion and politics. That's like, hey guys,
yeah,
like,
you don't mess
stay away
with
from that stuff. But other than that, like, yeah, tell us about your day. Like you said, we've only ever had to take down, I think, like maybe 2 posts ever. And then the other thing that was sad about it is there was people in the comments saying like, man, like now I'm going through in my head and thinking of all the non-fitness related stuff I've posted, and I feel bad that I was like annoying people and that's like so sad.
Yeah, it's really,
it's so sad.
You brought up a good post. You had a good post earlier this week, kind of your thank you letter to CrossFit, which I think it was a great post. I didn't personally do one, but me and you have talked about it numerous times how grateful we are for the opportunities that CrossFit has brought us. We have never been bashing on it. The approach that some people do to represent it is a different story. But for the most part, the lifestyle CrossFit, the true lifestyle that CrossFit was supposed to be about, when you stepped into it, when I stepped into it, those were great times. Like I think people have forgotten about it. But you had kind of stated, you could recap a little bit what you said, and then I'll piggyback off of that.
It was basically like, I know that, people are complaining a lot about the open announcements suck, like, and they kind of do.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
As somebody who was part of building those up to what they became, and was like, I was like on the first season where we had like no backdrop, and it was like crappy cameras and crappy lighting to what it had become like as of last year. They do kind of suck. Last night's was a little better. But or they're like, these old people with the gas cans or whatever, that like, what is this? This sucks. Like, CrossFit's changed. It's like ruining my life now. And it's like, hold on. Well, first of all, it's not ruining your life. It's just do the workouts and find some workouts that you like at a gym or online or whatever. There's plenty of places. But for me, it's kind of like what I said is that CrossFit's a business, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, they're not responsible for taking care of us. They've given all of us so much.
Yeah.
If you have found value in your life from doing thrusters and pull-ups and burpees as opposed to the same pec deck machine and lat pull down, then they've changed your way that you work out. Like that's huge, and they've done that. They've changed the fitness industry massively. Like
they really have.
Trainers like that I see that have never been associated with CrossFit, they've never been CrossFit trainers, are doing those movements. You see it all the time. So yeah, I was just kind of more like a thank you for giving me a platform. Thank you for because I was a trainer before I found CrossFit. Thank you for changing the way that I trained and making me a better trainer. I got an opportunity through working the seminars to feel really comfortable at public speaking and all of that. So it was just a reminder that, like, at the end of the day, their goal was to change the fitness industry and the way that people think about how to work out. And I think they absolutely did that. What they do now, it's their business decisions, but the change has already been made. Yeah. It's already happened. So
I think a lot of people, from my experience and what I've dealt with, I think the loudest people, to be honest, when this whole thing went into a change, the loudest people about it were the competitive athletes. And when I say competitive, it's not just games.
No.
It's literally like, I don't think, the games athletes, like the people that are going to make it to the games are going to make it to the games flat out. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. But it was like the people that were on the cusp to make it to regionals, that they planned their whole lives to do something that was a goal of theirs, to go to regionals, right? Or even like the local, like the competition athletes that really follow competitive training. Like, honestly, like when you get to a point, it almost feels like they felt like they got betrayed by CrossFit for the move that they did, right? And then all of a sudden they started bad mouthing it. They, clearly they go to a box. I would be so angry as an owner, because that brings a dramatic vibe. And people that are just going to go for a day-to-day basis to go work out and then have to be around that. Because the thing is, who's at the gym most of the day is like spending lots of hours there, are a lot of the people that are following some kind of program, or literally like it's CrossFit's life, and so when a move like that happened, it almost felt like they just felt so betrayed, and then they start. I don't know.
Well, it's like, is the picture that they're posting of the old man that's kind of weird? Is that preventing you from doing a workout? Like, is that changing what workout you're going to do today? Because if not, like, it's just kind of. I mean, we've laughed and joked about. I get what they're trying to do, but they are kind of funny photos.
How they, you know what? Yeah, because the way they go, the music that they choose for the videos, like but everything, it's like, oh my gosh.
I still did the same workout today as if they would have posted a picture of Matt Frazier. Like, it doesn't change my workout for today. It doesn't change anything for me, really. It just gives people something to talk about. So I don't know what it changes for people. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did a post just thanking them, because I think there's so much negative.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much entitlement from people. Like, I'm entitled to CrossFit keeping this alive for me to make regionals one day, or for me to be super duper famous 45 to 50 games athlete. Like, they're not. They don't owe you anything. They already did it.
And it's so crazy. For me, I'm grateful, because obviously if it wasn't for doing CrossFit, right, like you said, every decision leads to where you're at now. Think about it. If I never would have joined a CrossFit gym, then we would have never met, right? If I didn't meet the people that I met in CrossFit that you knew, right, none of this would be here today. So why would I not be grateful and thankful for that, right? It took me out of a different path that I was very insecure about and not confident in, really. Like, I valued myself for the wrong reasons, to a point where we're at now. It's like giving me a platform, to change for the better, not only myself, but for the people and our family and everything, so that's the thank you that I have to give, for sure. Like, it's, I see the light and all the positive that it's done, and honestly, like, we still train the same way, and nothing's gonna change, and so but yeah, that was a good post. And then I
had a dentist appointment on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
I was really terrified of it, but it wasn't that bad. It was just a cleaning. Listen to Gary Vee the entire time.
That's
on my
so
pods.
Genius. Yeah. And I finished, speaking of, like, listening to things, I just finished.
We talked about your book on the last podcast.
Yeah, so I finished the audiobook on that, and I felt good. I was
preventing him from going too deep into it again, because I knew he was about to.
No, I'm not going to go deep. No, I was not. I'm not. I don't, because I was
reminding him that we've already covered it.
Yeah, it was a good book, but it's just, again, I'm excited to see what the next one is. The last one ended up, like, really great. Like, it covered a great story, and now.
Send your recommendations.
Yeah, please. Yeah, send your recommendations for books. It could, I'm open to whatever. No sex novels or anything. Okay, please.
You don't need a romance novel.
No romance novels or whatever.
I was telling him, he set the bar really high, because he went full dramatic on that first book.
Yeah.
You can't like go business
Well,
book.
Well, no, because the book that you listened to before that was a parenting book.
It was parenting, and then I went like a business. It was.
Oh, The Art of War.
Then I did art. Yeah, this is my third one. I did The Art of War. Have you heard of that one?
It's short.
It's just short, but it's just kind of like, oh my, this is what makes people freaking paranoid. To be honest,
it's why they buy the big safe. He was listening to that probably when he went to buy the big safe.
No. You know, like Art of War was great. It just talks about like all these tactics that this military general, I think, you know, released and stuff, and I was like, oh my God, like, yeah, there's some of it you can apply to like day to day and your approach to certain things, like pretty much always bottom line, be prepared. The person who's most prepared is going to win. But it's a 13-chapter book on that with the different tactics.
What if you just opened it and that's all it said?
I mean, I should write a book and say, be prepared. You want to win in life? Prepare yourself, for sure.
For everything.
So that's what I gathered, and obviously you can apply it to a lot of things, you know, competition setting, mindset, business, everything. The more prepared you are, the more successful the more knowledgeable you are about the field that you're in. You're just going to become an unstoppable force. So
and you know what it is too? It's like the more prepared you are, the more confident you are. So the more willing you are to just go for it.
100%.
Because you're not concerned. Like I remember Nicole a little while ago. She's like, man, I don't know how you do these lives because people could ask you something that you don't know the answer to.
Oh, they ask me that stuff all the time.
And I learned on the seminar staff, one of my like mentors on the seminar staff, because I mean, people come in hot at those seminars.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And they're not really asking a question because they actually want to know. They're asking a question because they want to show how smart they are and they want to make you look dumb. Like, people are like that, right? So they would ask, especially in, like, the nutrition lectures or some of those. And what I was taught, and it's helped me so much for these situations, is if you don't know the answer, just say, I don't know. I'd be happy to look into that for you. I don't have experience with that. Where people get in trouble is when they try to bullshit. Yeah. And then they just end up sounding dumb because the person knows that they don't know what they're talking about. And then the whole group is like, that seems like he just pulled that out of his ass.
Exactly.
So, but the more prepared you are, the more you know, the more like you've experienced and done, the more confident you are. So you're not worried about as much. You can just kind of go for it.
And a lot of times too, with that, is like not only being prepared, but also, you know, experience is a big thing, right? Like you can be studied as you want, and this applies to people like me and Jaime were talking about earlier. You could be the smartest person at a college, but then like, you know, get the best grades and everything, but then once you get thrown and try to apply those things in real life and say you're antisocial and you don't know how you have people skills, good luck trying to find a great job. You know, you could obviously find a job. That will be the issue, but I think the approach that a lot of companies are taking nowadays is like hiring people based off of like their personalities, because you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you're a dick and you come in and bring like a really negative vibe because you're too overconfident or people don't like working with you, again, good luck trying to run a business, you know, or trying to get a job. You know,
well, I mean, I was joking about it earlier this week. The only reason that Nicole and Rachel work here is because their Instagram was funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, like
some of their videos were hilarious, and then, you know, they reached out and they were good with follow through, and they were, when we talked to them, you know, on FaceTime or whatever, like they actually like presented themselves well. But the only reason they got on that FaceTime phone call and the only reason that I wrote back to their email is because their Instagram posts were hilarious.
For sure. They were likable, they were relatable to our community, like all that stuff, and it was a good fit from the get-go. And you just have to have a willingness to learn and adapt to new things, right? And obviously in the field that you're doing. So, that's more valuable to us than somebody who has all this boatload of experience, but it's just not easy to work with.
You know what else makes you confident? And we've talked about it before, but I wanted to ask you because I've been doing these posts. Jaime, have you seen my posts of what my brain is actually thinking during the workouts? That I add like my own little captions?
She only did one so far.
No, I've done two.
Oh, two. Okay.
I've seen him. I haven't heard him. I think I was looking at the store when I saw it.
So I've been doing I did the second one. It was episode 2 of what I was really thinking, and it's just like me working out, and then I put little captions at the bottom for what my brain was thinking. And it's real. Like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like, these are the real things that happen in my head. Like, this one, it was the hang, squat, clean, pull-up workout, which if you want to see what that workout is, it's on the Main Street Parking Instagram today now.
It just wrecked me.
It was 4 3-minute AMRAPs, and at first I was like, I decided to do the strict pull-up version because in my head, I thought that was going to be easier because I was like, oh, well, the pull-ups, they'll be slower, so I won't be breathing as hard. I probably won't be able to do as many rounds. So I wrote that at the bottom, like, cool. 4 3-minute AMRAPs, not that bad. Oh, I'm crushing this. Oh, the strict pull-ups are going to be awesome. And then, like, the next one is me looking up and realizing that it's under 1 minute and I'm already on round 3. And everyone's done this, right? Where you're like, oh no, like I came out way too hot and now I'm like in deep, and I also know I'm capable of holding this. So now I have to try because I've done this to myself. And so the rest of it's just like, me like doing the math of how many cleans I'm going to end up getting now that I realize how many rounds I'm going to get.
I refused to do that when I was in my minute breaks, yeah.
And then like me being pissed because I had convinced myself that the strict version was going to be easier. And then literally like thinking like, oh man, like the only reason I'm doing this is because I own this company that I have to like give these people workouts. So that means I have to do the workouts, like the whole thing. And so somebody had mentioned that they wanted Molly to do a similar video because they want to know what Molly's thinking. And I said, Molly's usually just trying to remember what number she's on because I know that from working out with her. And also I think Molly's a little more mentally tough than I am. Another person that commented on there was like Carlene Matthews. She was like, I do the same thing. And I was like, I highly doubt it. I feel like you're a little bit mentally stronger than I am. But like, is it me? Like, does everyone do that? Like, do you do that?
I always have thoughts going on in my head.
Like what, though?
For example, when I was doing that one, I think after 2 rounds into when I first started it, I was like, okay, like you need to slow down a little bit or else you're really going to hurt. And you don't want to, better than to do this, right? Based off of your ability right now. And then I think when I was 2 full rounds done completely. And
like
I was
2 of the AMRAPs
2 of the AMRAPs done, right? I was like, oh my gosh, like stay calm, stay controlled, like because at that point I had set a base.
And you guys were live too, right?
Yeah, I was live. I had set a base as to what to hold for the
But like,
rounds.
do you think random things? Like, I really do think of like, oh man, like this career choice. Why did I do this?
I remember one of the thoughts exactly that I was thinking was like, how much longer do you really want to do workouts that require this much intensity? Like, why are you doing this? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, because you're hurt. Wow.
And it's so much worse when you're working out alone, because I was alone on that one completely.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. But I wasn't alone. I was still thinking those things. I was like, how sustainable is this intensity, Julian? Like, it was all that that were going on in my head. Because man,
the only time that I have no recollection of those types of thoughts happening is in competition, not practicing for competition, not like no workout that's ever happened outside of regionals or the CrossFit Games. But I think I did black out during those.
Yeah, in the competition setting, I remember I would only have rep schemes in my head. That's it. Hold to your rep schemes, and that's all you're thinking about.
I don't even think I had that. Like, it's completely black.
And paying attention to like breaths.
I did black out several times, so that's
it was like
why.
reps, paying attention to the breathing, and how like in control of my body I was in those, and drowning everything else out.
I have very few in workout memories, other than the one time where Jason called me babe. That was really weird.
So random. I remember that story. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's random.
He said, "Come on, babe."
That's so funny.
It was really, and Molly heard it too. She remembered it.
That's great that she heard it. The little stickers are amazing. I think the little stickers on here actually.
That was my first time using the stickers.
Yeah.
You like those?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it. But people are requesting them now, so now it's got to be like a weekly thing. But I'm not making it up to be funny. That's real.
Oh yeah, for
Because
sure.
everyone has it.
What are yours? I mean, when you work out once a month.
Well, that's the reason why I don't like working out with anybody, is because that
You
is
get.
too
I
much
feel like you
going
get
on.
angry in your head when you're working out.
Well, I get annoyed. Really, really easily, because I'm thinking about if somebody's cheating, they're probably cheating because they're beating me. And then,
Do you need to work out with me then, like so you can believe that I'm beating you?
but I'll believe that you're beating me.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, because remember when he first came here, the 3 of us were fine working out together.
yeah.
It was when other people started getting in that he was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then if like Kim's scaling, but
Super
if they're
scalar.
just beating me.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah.
That's annoying. And I feel like if they're trying to compete with me, I feel like I have to compete back.
I get it.
If I'm working out by myself, I'm in my own head, then I'm just thinking about nothing else. Like
Nice.
clarity.
Yeah, so I think that's a funny thing. I think that people, they try. Here's the thing, like, there's a lot of other programs out there, and it's like, champion mindset, how you practice is how you play, and blah, blah, blah. like that might work if your only like goal in life is to be a competitor, which it is some people's, and I do feel like it's very important to develop that mental strength.
You have to if you're
I
in
feel
that.
like I always sucked at it, and it's why the higher the level of the competition, the more likely I was to black out or get injured or who knows. Right? So I was never really mentally tough in competition that way, and so there's definitely benefit to it, but your everyday person, the amount of like mental stress that happens in their like just regular day, whether you're like a stay-at-home mom or you have like a stressful job or something, like I would never be like encouraging our members to like toughen up during their workouts. Like, nah, just do the workout. And I'm just trying to show that it's normal to like think those things, but I'm still working out. Like I always end up finishing the workout.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to think about what happens in your head while you're doing it.
Yeah, so that was a good post. Those are good posts. Those are funny. That was so. What are we on now? We're on we had an out of town guest in town now. Actually.
Oh, that was risky.
That was risky. So tell me how you kind of went about finding her and bringing her in. So
we have for street parking we have an accessory workout every Sunday. Well, we have 6 of them, but one of them is the gymnastics program, and I program that workout every week. And I know enough about gymnastics. Like I have trained muscle ups, I've trained handstand push-ups and handstand walks, and like some of the higher skill things. I've taught thousands of people how to do kipping pull-ups and toes to bar and that kind of thing, right, at seminars. So I know some drills and I know some progressions and I know, how I used to train them, but I'm not a gymnast. Like the only gymnastics I've ever done has been inside of CrossFit. And so a lot of times to create these workouts, I would look at some Instagram pages to get some ideas, and hers was one of them. I can't even remember how I originally found her. But then she and I would like comment on each other's stuff every once in a while, and I just liked her vibe.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to her one time, and I remember asking her like, what do you do? What is your business or whatever? Because I wasn't quite sure. And she travels around and she does like seminars at CrossFit gyms to teach people the muscle up or I think she's got like a whole thing that she does. But she's not a street parking member, and I've never met this person.
Yeah. And
so, but I liked her vibe, and I just got really good feel from her. So I asked her if she wanted to help create some gymnastics workouts for the street parking gymnastics program. We've had other people program the accessory workouts before, like my friend Alex.
Yeah.
Has helped with like the Suns Out, Guns Out.
Yeah.
But I know him.
Yeah, for sure. The accessory workouts are definitely something that we love to bring in people that are specialists in that field, or they have, because we have experience in it a lot based off of like how we used to train, but
these people are like really into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that to us is extremely valuable. Like we know when it's time to kind of like, all right, here, let's hand the torch to somebody that's going to bring even more value to what we have with these little accessories, so that's really cool.
Yeah, so I reached out to her, and then she sent me 6 weeks worth of workouts, and and she sent me some demos of her demoing some of the movements, so that, because I told her originally, just send me the workouts, I'll pay you to help us, and we'll demo them for our own videos, because we demo everything. Mm-hmm. But then when I was watching her demos, I'm capable of doing all the movements, but they're not going to look as good as she makes them look. So I was like, you know what? Would you be interested in coming here? And so she came, but it was risky because I'd never met her before. She could have been like too over the top, or she could have not gotten what we're trying to do. But she's been awesome.
Super cool, actually. We're definitely excited to see like how the members like the addition to that, and it's something that we just kind of bring her around, year round or something,
Mm-hmm.
So. That's the beauty of where we're at right now, is the street parking as a brand continues to grow. Like it allows us to bring in like really extremely credible sources to bring even better content to the platform, because we always work on going to the next level and so it's cool.
Well, it's a thin line because you get people who are fans, but they know stuff, and then I thought you guys knew her.
No.
Because of how comfortable she was.
I know.
Like,
yeah,
not awkward.
I know.
But you can't, like, there's such a fine line there between, like, fan, oh my gosh, and then
like Noodle.
being cool.
Yeah, for sure.
She was. She's been really awesome.
Yeah.
And she got to witness our rant on Wednesday about the members complaining about each other's non-fitness. That was like her intro with
got to
us
see a
going
lot.
live,
So funny.
telling the members to be nice to each other. It was really funny.
Yeah, she's got to see a lot of how we do our day to day. You know, when she brings it up, she's like, "Wow, this is to us it's so normal. Like, all right, this is our day to day," and she was just like, "Guys, what does a normal day look like for you guys?" And I was like, "Well, this is kind of it."
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget. Sometimes I think we forget how much we're doing when until somebody from outside comes in and they're like, "Geez," and then when they start asking us questions like, "All right, well, you guys have this," and we're like, "Yeah," and then we start diving into that, and we're like, "Oh," and all the steps it took to put that together, right? It's just like, wow, a lot of stuff.
Well, that's so funny because I was looking at some of the stats of street parking as a business because it's a little over 2 years old now, and I love to go and remember a year ago how many members we had or a year before. So I think in 2017 we had 788 members in February of 2017. We were only 2 months old, so that's pretty awesome actually. But then last year it was like 3,500 in February.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And we had 1 employee.
We did, yeah. And then it just, now we have 15 more,
And it seems like it was 5 years ago to me. That was
yeah, it does.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then last night we saw.
Oh yeah, we saw. Oh,
I'll try not to get so angry about it this time.
Yeah. So last night we went to go watch Captain Marvel for one of our date nights. Just because I'm a big, huge fan of the Marvel, just DC movies in general.
He's such a nerd about the comic book movies that he won't allow us to ever invite anyone else. I've tried to be like, hey, let's invite Nicole and Rachel, or let's invite this person. No, I can't. He doesn't unless the person who's invited also is a super big comic book person. He doesn't like them to come because he gets embarrassed of how nerdy he gets about it.
I don't know. I contain my nerdiness. I do.
No, but immediately when we get in the car, you're Googling.
Afterwards, the Easter eggs and all that stuff and all the films and go deep into.
You didn't actually do that much last night.
Because they're not up yet. Because it's still new. We went I've checked already. Don't worry, I checked.
So when I knew it was on a different level of nerd.
Yeah.
Was when you started googling the videos
Oh yeah, he follows those people
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yes.
You squat up in the comments.
I squat. Yeah, hit that. That bell up top. So we can
It's
squat
so
in the
bad that
comments.
I recognize the different voices. I know when he's watching YouTube, I know which show he's watching based on the person's voice that I can hear. I don't even have to see it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So if any of you guys hear this message and are big Marvel fans, just shoot me a message so we can squat up in the messages.
General discussion doesn't do it justice. The level of nerdiness. We went to this tattoo place.
I keep it casual.
my
I really
God.
do keep it casual.
The intro question. It was so what's your favorite scene in that latest Star Wars? And the guy got thrown off. He was wait, because he's looking at Julian he's this muscle guy,
Just the beard. The beard threw him on. Yeah, the whole thing.
And the guy was oh, I like the whole movie. And then that's when Julian was just
I started going deeper into
because this guy was your stereotypical nerd.
Oh yeah, he was for sure.
We're in a comic.
I think he was drawing a comic or something, But we went deep into some of the stories that are currently trending in comics and stuff like that, and there's just a bunch of other stuff, and we went back and forth, and I could have probably stayed there for an hour.
So, but this movie last night, this is the beginning of the Avengers. This is the origin story of the Avengers, right? This Marvel chick.
Kind of, right? Kind of, because if you really think about it, Captain America is the first Avenger. But anyway,
it seems like they named the Avengers after her.
Yeah, because the thing is, at the time,
he's irritated that he has to explain this to me.
I'm not gonna explain it, but
it's me explaining what high intensity means to someone and being irritated right now. That's how.
No, for sure. But anyway, I think for this movie, it was the first. If you take away from Wonder Woman, right? Because technically that seemed to be the first female superhero movie.
No, I'm talking about the beginning of the Avengers as a group.
Yeah.
It was named after her.
The group Avengers was named after her.
I am not interested in Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I know. So it turns out I was worried because Miranda is not a big fan of female superhero movies. I'm going to make sure
Yes, movies.
Female superhero movies because of how Hollywood portrays a female superhero.
They make the superhero movies for that guy who works in the tattoo shop.
100%. They attract.
They don't make them for females.
They attract the male audience. They really do. and then they try to push it as empowering women.
No, once again, your boobs aren't empowering me to do anything.
But what kind of won you over with? Because you were worried about this one, Captain Marvel.
I mean, I've had to accept the fact, and I think like as a muscular female at some point in your life, you have to accept the fact that they're never actually going to hire an actress that looks like that because it's just not, the general population can't handle it, and the male actors in general are way too small. Like I would probably make Jude Law look silly.
Yeah, they're small guys. Yeah, they're small. Yeah.
And I'm not that big, but he's probably 10 pounds heavier than I am.
Yeah.
So you have to like accept that fact at some point, but it's always a little bit annoying that so the actress, I was like, here we go again, just like a Hollywood actress that's like, she's not nearly as skinny as the woman who plays Wonder Woman and tall and just kind of modelly, but she's a Hollywood actress. So I was like, okay. But I ended up enjoying it a lot and enjoying her character because at no point did they try to make her sexy. She was never like trying to like be sexy, whether she was like in her superhero uniform or in like regular clothes. When they had her change out of her superhero uniform, which covered her entire body up, by the way, and even more than like Scarlett Johansson's.
Big time.
It covers her up completely, like it's like a turtleneck.
And you'd be proud too, because in the comics, the way they show Captain Marvel is very it's like over the top. 100%.
But again, like who reads comic books? I don't know many females who buy comic books.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, she's covered up in her uniform, and then when she changes out of it, she's in like a 9 Inch Nails t-shirt and like jeans. Like they didn't even go shorts. They went jeans and a hat, and I really, so at no point was I like, okay, is she trying to be sexy or is she like fighting someone right now? Because I'm like confused as to what's supposed to be happening. So it's cool. I liked it. I thought it, and even her friend, like the bond between her and her best friend was like, like kind of like a strong woman. Like they were, fighter pilots and or whatever. They were in the Air Force, and so I thought that was pretty cool.
I would say that that's definitely by far the most realistic interpretation of what a female superhero is. With even like the realness of the whole story of the relationship between, you're right, her and her friend.
The doctor, Dr. Lawson, was like a strong, smart woman, like who like created this amazing technology. And so the whole thing was like better representation of whole thing.
They did good. One of the things that as overall as a story, I thought it was great. As far as the acting from the actress herself, was that it could have been better. I think so. I think sometimes people get caught up in thinking of what a superhero needs to be like and act like and stuff like that. But I mean, overall, I thought it was good, entertaining. It was the last piece of the puzzle before the actual the last Avengers movie comes out, which I'm super geeking out about and I'm pumped about. But
how funny were the crawl dudes though?
Oh,
they made the movie.
I appreciate your trying. Scrolls, yes. Like
that was close.
That was really close, and I'm proud of you.
They were really funny.
They're super hilarious. I get really irritated by when these over the top nerdy guys or these super nerds, they go super hard and like, oh, that wasn't realistic, or oh, that was BS. That like how's that even? It's like I feel like they forget that they're watching a superhero movie.
I love it when people say that that's not realistic in a movie like that.
I know.
Like nothing.
I was like, oh my gosh, like what? Guys, are you serious? Like, it's a superhero movie. Like, what are you talking about? I get so really irritated by the in-depth, how they review the movies and go over the top with this and this and that. I'm like, guys, at the end of the day, now they're doing an awesome thing by making these films into movies that we can go watch in person, as opposed to like cartoons or these comic books. And I think that's super cool, because these are all stories that we grew up with as cartoons or comic books. And I'll always be appreciative of it, whether the movies suck or not. I'm still gonna go watch it. Like all the DC movies.
Ugh.
Except Aquaman. I gotta say, Aquaman was pretty cool. But they did go a little bit more of like the sex appeal route with that.
Yeah, and they're just like, they're a little more cheesy, like
the whole
Ben Affleck thing.
Those things, I'm like, oh god, it makes me want to like just put my head down a little bit, but then I get over it real quick and just be like, it's a superhero movie. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Kids is supposed to be like for
the
kids
characters
to watch,
are just lamer.
Yeah.
And DC, like the character development that they do is lamer. Yeah. I think.
So, but anyway, that was our little date night.
We just both went super nerdy on that one.
We did.
There's a whole wiki page on this. The portrayal of women in American comic books have been subject to controversy since the since the medium's beginning, and it goes on and on about
It's
it.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. I think that's what, because we had asked her, Miranda, what she thought about it. She came in real hot about it this morning, and how she like hates how they portray female superheroes. And I think, for good reason, because you should never feel empowered by a sex appeal, right? Like,
well, it's okay, but you not when you're fighting someone.
Yeah, like those things. Yeah,
Like it's okay. Like if Wonder Woman was out on a date, great. But
Don't-
like not when
okay,
you're like
let me
trying to
take
like
that back.
save the world.
Don't
Like
let
let's
that
not
be
worry
the
about your
only-
hair.
Don't let that be the only thing that empowers you.
Yes.
Don't let that be the main. Like, hey, have value and your whole being as a person, right? Like, not just, I'm got big boobs and this. All right, this is my empowerment. It's like, all right, come on, like, value your whole self, for sure. But anyway, so yeah, that was.
that's it.
I think that
I
was
have
a
a funny confession to make.
Yeah, what you got?
We went to go see a movie, The Avengers.
Ant-Man.
We went to see Ant-Man.
I never saw that. You guys saw it
Right.
together without me.
And it's exactly what it was. And when we first got there, it was just you and I, and then your mom ended up being there. And so we went in to go sit down. We got popcorn or something.
Uh-huh.
And I went to go sit down, and you went in first. Your mom followed. She sat like 3 seats away from you. This is like when this is when I was still living at your house. And so like I'm still getting to know you, and like this is like our first outing together without Miranda. And so your mom sits 3 seats away.
Why?
And so like generally like if there's nobody in the theater, like I'll sit like a seat away, but your mom was a seat like 3 seats away, and then there was enough room on the other side, and so like I awkwardly sat next to you.
Yeah, it was awkward.
And
Why?
I don't know.
I would think it was awkward for.
I didn't think much of it. I was like, whatever.
And it was just so funny because it was just like I was like, man, this is super awkward because like mom's like in an awkward position, and if I sit like 5 seats this way, that's even more awkward. And like I'm just getting to know Julian, so like I mean I'll just sit like right here, like
So funny.
It was
I
really
think
funny.
him and his mom were being awkward, not you.
Yeah.
But generally, like it's like guy code. It's like if you go into the bathroom.
Well, you don't go in the that's
If you go into the bathroom and there's 3 stalls, you never go to the middle one if you're a guy.
No, you just go to the outer ones.
Yeah, you
Tackle
go
the outer
left or
ones
right.
first.
It's like guy code. But
Yep.
if there's empty theater and there's only 2 guys in there.
But you guys
if
went
sit-
together. It's not like you're strangers.
No, but you sit a seat away just because why not, right? Like like not a date.
It's like on a plane. You're not going to sit in the middle seat if the whole thing is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it was just so funny because like I'm just getting to know you. Like it's really funny.
Yes.
What would have been better is if you went and sat right next to his mom.
That was hilarious. That
That's
was really
what was
funny.
like basically what was going to happen because she was in between, and it was really funny.
Oh my gosh, that would have been really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll wrap that up. I think that kind of covers a good solid.
Yeah, we're gonna go do this team workout, and
There's a lot of stuff to do still today. It's a tight
lot.
schedule for
I
sure.
know it's already like 3:30.
You guys will work out probably until 4:30, and then they'll probably pick up the video demoing after
We have
that.
to film all the workouts.
Yeah, after your guys' workout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys. Sounds good. Well, thanks for listening to another
Random rant
another
session.
random podcast session. These are cool. I like this because not only is it cool, like if you guys enjoy it, it's great. But
Even if no one listens, we'll be able to listen to them later and remember what
Exactly.
we're doing in our life.
just exactly documenting our life
Yeah.
as we go moving forward. So, yes. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.